Good morning. Welcome into this beautiful day. I'm gonna tell you this with all of the love. Please make sure you're drinking plenty of water. I keep hearing the weathermen say the July fry, so please drink plenty of water. All right. Well, I welcome you into this beautiful morning. I welcome you into this beautiful place. And we are going to get started with our inner healing experience. And I'm completely discombobulated because normally this is Danielle. And I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, Danielle. So everybody take a nice deep breath, breathe it all the way down. Relax as you release the breath. Take one more nice deep breath. And as you breathe in love, peace, joy, harmony. And as you release the breath, breathe out anything you are ready to let go of. And join me now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one and all is well. As we begin the inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your hand, and let my words act as your own for your own inner acceptance and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging the higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply repeat these words. I surrender.
I surrender.
Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive.
I forgive.
Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only constructive, positive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose.
I choose.
I now center upon that one special idea I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week, visualizing the idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled, and gratefully speak these words. I accept.
I accept.
Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me.
Well, God Number of new people here today. And that's great. Love to have you. I hope you'll stick around. I implore you to stick around. Because you can't get all this in one morning. You can't get it in 10 years. It's a lot of, I don't know, personal development, which our assignment this summer has been about. To know yourself more deeply. To know what makes you tick. To know your motivations, your intentions, your ambitions, your whole inner inventory. Unafraid. To know why you do what you do. And at the same time, to affirm, or if you prefer pray, or if you prefer treat, or all of these, to know within yourself that every other person walking the face of the earth knows who they are. Because it is my belief and the belief of this teaching that if people know who they are, they act better. They're nice at each other. And the situations that you heard sung about don't have to erupt into public display. We don't need to have wars. We don't need to have hunger. We don't need to have poverty. We live on a flourishing planet. It would flourish better if we took better care of it. But the decisions that we make are based always in self-image. Always in self-image. Who do I feel myself to be? What shortcomings do I feel I have that I have to compensate for or overcompensate for at somebody else's expense? Because this teaching, the science of mind, is really a teaching of spiritual psychology. I could go on and on with you about what we propose to be the nature of God. Actually, I've been doing that all week with other groups, because we've been going through our declaration of principles and things, talking about the idea that God is, in fact, all there is. That the word God is a sticking point for a number of people because it summons up an image that is not all there is, but is instead sort of a parental figure, And the nature of God is creation. The nature of God is becoming, pouring itself into experience. We could go on and on about that. But where the work is really done is in this self-image. Because you're the architect of your own life, and I'm the architect of mine. My thoughts, my feelings are working together, creating beliefs, and the beliefs are generating particular outcomes in form. And for that process, through myself, I am responsible. Each of us is responsible. Why do we do what we do? Is it working? Has it ever worked? Are we getting what we need out of life? Are we giving what we need into life? That's the question to ask. Who am I really? What's really going on here? So today I thought I'd riff a little with you about the nature of subjective reality, objective and subjective reality. Like you, I was brought up to believe that there's an objective reality that I have to learn about and I can quantify and I can dissect it like a frog. You ever dissect a frog? It's so gross, But it supposedly taught you about the musculature and the structure of a living thing. And, I kind of got from that you could dissect any situation and figure it out, see its interior workings. And it was much later that it began to dawn on me, with help from teachers and writings, bless you, that the nature of life is really subjective. It's really subjective. Are you familiar with a body of work called A Course in Miracles? Okay? Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. It's a long and complicated work and very challenging in terms of what it asks you to do. But never more challenging than the first line of it. It says, nothing I see is real. You go on from there. It probably loses a lot of people right there. You open the book, nothing I see is real. Close the book. What else you got for me? Nothing I see is real. Presumably including the book. Presumably including that statement in the book. It's a koan, you know, it's a Zen thing. It's like things are not as they seem, nor are they otherwise. Have you heard that one? Chew on that a while. Things are not as they seem, nor are they otherwise. This is talking about utter subjectivity. All right, so nothing I see is real. You know what it means by that? It doesn't mean that everything is false. It means that everything is perceived through filters of subjective expectation, subjective reality. Everything we look at, everything we sense, we are sensing subjectively through our own process. By the time you get to a certain age of like toddlerhood, or maybe you're not even out of the crib yet, you've assembled a set of expectations of how reality is going to appear. By the time you get to, I don't know, maybe 4 years old, you've met enough people in your life, enough people have come through your experience that everybody starts to remind you of somebody else. And by the time you get into adulthood, well, you've got this population of thousands, tens of thousands maybe living in your head of people that you've somehow encountered, even if you just pass them in the street. And you've already begun to pretty substantially categorize people and conditions and circumstances based on how they make you feel. And typically, though not always, the older you get, the more jaded you get about all of this. Been there, done that, seen it all, you know. And it really takes a surprising person or situation to get through that jadedness with authenticity and spontaneity. Now, it does not have to be this way. I'm talking in just kind of customary, unconscious humanness trudging through its daily life, trying to make sense of things, you know. Where I'd like to live is in a place of consciousness that is spontaneous and fresh and new. My whole experience of life, and I want that for you too. I want that for all of us. What it takes is not to move out the subjective field, but to explore the subjective field and see what have I put in there? What are my expectations? What is it that I'm perceiving life through? Is it disappointment? Is it bitterness? Disillusionment? Betrayal? Have I accumulated all of this stuff and made up a story about it to keep myself safe? And so somebody new, or again a new situation comes into my life, and I get all beady-eyed and suspicious about it. Is this going to hurt? What is this going to take? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? What do you want from me, you know? And then I wonder why nobody ever wants anything from me. Then I wonder why there's never any joy, because I've whittled it down to this narrow thing, and it's got to be just so, and it's the bah humbug experience. Hey, let's have Christmas in July. Are you ready for that? You know? Huh?
Hallmark does.
Hallmark does.
Yeah.
Hey, free product placement. Ozarka water, yeah. Christmas, but the bah humbug syndrome, think about it. He's the Scrooge story. I'll give you this again in December, but I mean the Scrooge story. You ever read it? You ever read it? Not just see it. Not just the George C. Scott or the Alistair Sim, you know, two particular excellent versions, but you read it. He has a wounded inner child. He's a wounded inner, and based on that, he has made up a script for his life that is playing itself out, both to his satisfaction and to his detriment. And he has all of this pointed out to him. And at no point is his choice taken away. At no point is his mind forcibly changed by the experience of the three spirits that visit him. The whole thing is self-directed. It's just, wow. Suddenly he sees the vast patterning intelligence, Scrooge I'm talking about here, the vast patterning intelligence that ties all of this stuff together, and he makes his own decisions and stuff, and so can we. So I was thinking on the way here, here's kind of how this works. I think I have this fully thought out in my mind, but I'll do it on the fly if I don't. Has anyone in the room ever been to Iowa? You have been to, okay. I didn't, you've been to Iowa? Two of you have been to Iowa. I've never been to Iowa. And I picked Iowa. I was thinking about countries, states, where could I just kind of, so I closed my eyes and sort of pointed to a map, and I came up with Iowa. My experience of Iowa is entirely second or third hand. If I had a conversation with the two of you guys afterward, I'd know more about Iowa than I ever have. All I know is what I read. And Iowa's not one of those big noisy places that commands a lot of attention most of the time. Doesn't really dominate the news cycle, you know. But it sounds like a nice place, and it sounds like a place I'd like to visit. But my experience up to this moment of Iowa lives entirely in sort of a fugue state in me as just a subjective set of expectations. I would expect corn. I would expect a little Music Man kind of energy, small town dancing in the streets, high school band kind of thing. Probably not. The guy that wrote that was from Indiana, and in Iowa, I don't think they like being classified. They probably don't. Well, it's like Iowa and Indiana are interchangeable. No, I don't think so. So I have this set of beliefs about Iowa, and if I decided to make a real study of it, it would get more complex. And I'd sit down and pore over Iowa documents and Iowa history. I could actually become quite an expert on Iowa without ever having set foot there. You could come and ask me questions about it. You'd ask me what it was like, and instead of saying, I don't know, I'd say, well, the annual rainfall is this. Main crops are that. Biggest city is, what, Des Moines? You know. We walk through this world as experts in places we've never been and things we've never done because we've accumulated secondhand information. And that's acceptable up to a point because we're probably not going to get everywhere and see everything in the allotted time. But we must be willing to be wrong. We must be willing to be surprised. Because otherwise, you take me to Iowa and all I'm going to see is my own expectation set of it. And that's not the real Iowa. That's me. That's my story, displayed in 3 dimensions. So why bother going there? If I'm going to go there, I want to have a direct experience of the place that's fresh and new and the people who are there. And oh, about those people? See, I could make up a story in my mind that Iowa people are a certain way. And Iowa's not a place that stands out for having its people be necessarily a certain way, but I can think of a lot of places that are like where I'm from, where everybody's supposed to be rude and hate tourists, you know, and this kind of thing, which they aren't and they don't. But, you know, if I went there with the expectation that the people were going to be a certain way, those people that I encountered would probably be that certain way, not because they are, but because I caught them at a moment when they are, or I caught the few of them that are that way, and all it would do would be to confirm my suspicions. And we walk through this life having our suspicions confirmed and learn nothing until we're willing to see past that into the heart of the experience. That people are people, and they're all different. It doesn't matter where geographically they're from or are now. If I'm willing to have a direct experience of them, then I'm willing to give them a direct experience of me. And this is how you heal enmity, and this is how you heal isolation, and this is actually, in the long run, how you keep from having wars and stuff, is that people get to know other people. And they say, oh, you're more like me than I thought. You put your garbage cans out on the curb on Tuesdays too. So do we where I'm from, you know. And now there's a commonality and there's an understanding, and then you can build from there. Now, what's the point of all of this? Well, do you want heaven on earth or don't you? See? I was raised in a teaching that says heaven comes after if you're good, you know, if you behave yourself here. Then the reward is heaven, where everybody's friendly and happy and sits at the feet of God, adoring God and all this. And there's, harp music too. But lots of good harp music. But I'm no longer willing to settle for that. I want it here. I want it now. I want it on this earth in my experience. And for that, I have to soften myself up. So I just have to look at my subjective thought atmosphere. Subjective thought atmosphere, which contain, I'm giving you a little Ernest Holmes now, but in an unintrusive kind of way. Okay? It's sort of like a vaccination that you don't notice you're getting. Okay? Subjective thought atmosphere represented by mental equivalence. I walk through this world with an equivalency, an association that I make in my mind and in my heart for the value of things. What counts the most? And it doesn't mean that these things actually do count the most. It means that in my life, that's the sorting out, that's the hierarchy of value, I guess, that I get to experience, that I get to live with. Our subjective thought atmosphere projects itself onto reality like a veil. And from time to time, it's useful to pull back the veil and see what is actually there. Because then we begin to develop not just faith, but conviction. The conviction that a person has who's been to Iowa, who can tell you with some authority the experience of Iowa. Reminds me of a story. We had a class here years ago, 10-week class, and in the first week we asked everybody, what's a goal that you have in your life? And one student said, I want to go to France. I want to go to France. Have you ever been to France? No. Ever been to France? Do you know much about France? Not really. So it's all right. So we created a little class project, and we did a meditation on France. And we filled it with nonsensical stuff, you know, like cartoon kind of stuff, like everybody wears a beret. They eat baguettes of bread. There's accordion music in the back. I mean, just, you know, silly, completely stereotypical jazz like this. But it was what we had. We did a meditation. This student missed the last 3 weeks of the 10-week class because her company suddenly, without explanation, sent her to France. Well, let me tell you, the people in that class signed up for the next class and the class after that, because it's like, man, this stuff works. Now, I can't tell you that we could launch each one of you out of this room today into the destination you want to inhabit. Can't promise you this, because what happened in that situation happened within her. Didn't happen within the rest of us. The real work was done there. We were doing practitioner work in a way, but building on, we weren't saying where she had to go or what she had to do. You see, it was working off of her decision, her choice to do this. And I think she went before she was ready, really, like, you know, to go. That she, I guess she had a passport, but, you know, beyond that, it was like, whoop, off you go. But she had a terrific time, she told us when she got back. But the point is, she bought it. And that's the main point today, is whatever you want to create in your life, if you have the conviction about it, if you buy it, nobody else has to. If you believe it, if you can bring yourself to believe it, do not waste your time praying about something that you can't believe. Instead, parse it down to where some part of it is believable to you and start there. Folks come into metaphysics and they say, I want to be a billionaire and run the world. Do you think you can do that? No, never in a million years, but let's give it a shot. Well, why waste your time? I mean, you could be doing worse things, I suppose, but still in all, start with the part that you accept. When I came into this, one of the things they had us do, which is completely ridiculous, but it was to manifest a parking place. I've told you this before. You're driving into a mall or someplace and you want a convenient parking place. And you know what? It worked. And then the second assignment was to hit green lights. To hit green lights, which is a little bit manipulative because you got the cross traffic, you know, that you're like messing with. But anyhow, people could believe this because once in a while you hit green lights. Boom, 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 boom. Particularly like downtown where they're timed, you know, but you hit them and it's like, yeah, okay. And every now and then, even in a really busy parking lot, you get lucky and somebody's pulling out right as you're pulling in, and there you are. And it's like, okay, I can buy that. And so we started treating about this. And then how about treating that tomorrow is a little bit better than today? How about treating that you get a good night's sleep tonight? How about treating that you have a good, healthy appetite? How about treating that you stay fully hydrated? How about treating that your power stays on and everybody else's does too, despite the grid, you know? How much of this can you accept? And the more of it that you accept, the more of it that you manifest, the more conviction you build about your use of this power. And then somebody comes up to you and says, well, how about world peace? And you're like, well, you know, sure, why not? And I can feel it because I'm at peace. I'm at peace. If you're in conflict, it's very difficult to feel that the whole world breaks out in song. But if you're feeling peaceful, then it's like, yeah, okay. Everybody gets along and they have a fine time together, you know. So we then begin to take on the larger issues that are beyond us, that are about the culture and about, you know, the world at large. But we start where we are with the subjective conviction. And I always come back to Jesus when he was introduced at the temple and the authority figures, so 2, 3 times, 4 times his age. Look at him. He speaks as one with authority. He speaks as one with authority. What did that mean? It meant he believed his own word. He believed his own understanding of the teachings. He had not just faith. He had conviction that he built. We don't know exactly how he built it. When he came back on the scene 18 years later, we definitely don't know how he built it, where he was, what was going on. But you haven't lost touch of 18 years of your process, I don't think. So look at what you have convinced yourself about up to now and what has manifested as a result of it. And decide what you want to create for yourself, be that something in form, or more especially a context of feeling. And can you believe it? Can you believe it? Can you accept it right now? And if you cannot, do not beat yourself up about this. Do not say I am a lesser person or my spiritual life is forfeit or any of the rest of that. If you cannot accept it right now, then ask yourself, how much can I accept? Can I accept that today is a little bit better than yesterday was? I have a little more energy, I get an hour's more sleep, or what have you, you know? That my body feels a little bit stronger than it did. Then start there. Then start there. And you build, there's an old expression, they say you gain purchase, traction, okay, as you go. I'm going to close now. And there was an announcement I didn't give you because I was waiting for this moment because I want to have your full attention about it. And it is that we have an outstanding speaker coming here next week. I will be off. I will miss you. But you will be in the best of hands with the Reverend Arthur Johnson. If you've never heard Reverend Arthur, and many of you have, but if you're new with us and you haven't, you can check him out on our YouTube channel, past talks of his. But do yourself a favor and be in the room or at least be online and catch his talk next week because he will be en fuego and fuego, okay? This man, he teaches principle with a dynamism I am in awe of. And so next week he will tell you, it's about living your best life. Reverend Arthur Johnson, 11 a.m. Central here at Creative Life. And then I will be back the following Sunday, the last Sunday in July. And we've got, like I say, we're planning all kinds of cool stuff for you coming into the end of summer and into autumn. Now let's know together there is one life, one power, one presence, pure spirit, everywhere radiant, everywhere manifest. And it made this beautiful day. And we're going to withhold our judgment about temperature scales, humidity factors, and heat indexes, and all the rest of that. And just call this day a day of spirit. Call it a blessed day that's ours to enjoy. In this day, greater self-awareness is occurring through each one of us. We're kind to ourselves. We're kind to others, both in actuality and in our minds. We give everyone safe passage across our minds. There is nothing to need, nothing to hide from, nothing to fear. We are whole and complete right now and right here. And the power that made all creation, the mind that made a star, is the same mind that we use to shape our own destiny, one thought, one feeling at a time. Everything is possible to us, depending only on the breadth and width of our imagination. So we think big. And as needed, we start small. Accepting what we can, believing what we can about ourselves. That every day in every way we are getting better and better, smarter and smarter, stronger and stronger, healthier and healthier. And that all of this is leading somewhere into a self-generated divine destiny of deep-level choice, now manifest as a passionately creative life. And for this knowing, and for its manifestation and form through each one of these godlings here present, actually or virtually, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, thank you. So as we come up to giving time, first of all, I want to thank all of you for everything you do to support our center. Some you see the musicians here, you sometimes see the practitioners, you see the ministers, a lot of people work behind the scenes, but somebody who you see and does an awful lot of work behind the scenes, you wouldn't believe how much work. He often is missed out in our thanks, and that is our own Reverend Jesse Jennings. Thank you, Jesse, for everything you do. Yep. It's good to clap. You're not in a Catholic church right now. So as we come up to giving time now, I just ask you to think of one thing in your life that you are truly grateful for. Just think of one thing right now. What are you grateful for this very moment in your life? So as you hold your gift either physically in your hand or mentally if you're given some other way than physically at the center here, just say with me now, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is.
So it is.
MJM. Melody, Jeffrey, Melody. Applause is good. By the way, Reverend Lacey, you were speaking as one with authority this morning. I have to admit that. It was good.
I had lots of practice.
Yeah. Somebody who shall remain nameless, I think he's, oh no, he's still there at the back. he asked for a pun.
Oh, no.
I have to give you a pun.
You're going to punish us?
Yes. If you read Scrooge, you will have a Dickens of a time. That's my pun of the day. So for our new people, we usually begin and end all of our events, services, with an invocation and or a meditation. We end with a benediction, which literally means a good word to send you on your way. Today, my job is to give you that benediction. It's normally Reverend Lisa. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote it's a tome, really. It's not a book, the Science of Mind textbook. But a lot of people don't realize in there are loads and loads and loads of affirmations. There's just loads of them. There's treatments, there's affirmations. It's a really good workbook. It's not just a book you get in class and you read parts of it. So if you have a copy of it, either digitally or, the real copy, well, I guess they're all real copies, the paper copy, just pull it up and just read through and just look in the back. And for instance, this is just one example, and I picked it because of what Reverend Jesse was talking about today. It's called The House of Love. I dwell in the house of love. My dwelling place is filled with peace and eternal calm. Love attends me in my home of the soul, and joy awaits me in the secret place of the Most High. My house is built for me by the hand of love, and I shall never leave this home of the Spirit, for it is always present. I shall abide in this home forever. My house is a house of love. And that's an example of the kind of thing that you can find in the back of the book there. So as we come to the end of our time together, I know that there's only Spirit in this whole universe, multiverse, the omniverse. There is simply Spirit. Everything is an expression of that one Spirit. And I am an expression of that Spirit. Each and every person in this room, each and every person online, each and every person on this planet is an expression of that one. So I claim for each and every one that love fills their hearts. That, as Reverend Jesse said earlier, that each person here, each person present online, each person on this earth knows who they are. And as they know who they are, and as that becomes an effect in the world changes for the better. Peace begins to be the order of the day. Love is the order of the day. I claim that this is truth. And I release you on your way in gratitude and say, this is the truth. And so it is.
Peace eternally, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my
I
mind.
feel it in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I
I
am.
choose it.
I choose
I
it.
trust it.
I trust
I
it.
use it.
I
And
use
I
it.
love it.
And I love
So
it.
it is.
And
So it is.
All right.